Having a friend group is one of the best things in the world. Usually in friendships, we have some cool people like the chill guy, or that friend who will always be there for you no matter what. Almost all friend groups are made up of good people. But of course, there will always be some bad ones in the mix, and today we're gonna talk about them. Starting with the hater. He pretends to be your friend, but deep down he's always putting you down, controlling you, or draining your emotional energy. This guy is the type of friend who never wants to see you doing well. He says he's your friend, but if you landed a good job, this guy will tell you, "Oh, welcome to the rat race, you're a slave now, ha 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 ha." He just wants to see you living in a shopping cart in the middle of the street. If you're doing a little better than him, instead of congratulating you, this guy will be furious that you achieved something and he didn't. And he'll do everything to prevent you from succeeding in life. Now I have to say there are two types of hater. The other type is way more chill. It's that guy who only roasts you as a joke. He doesn't want to see you suffer, but he also doesn't mince words, and he says everything he thinks. Like if you get a girlfriend and she's not that pretty, this guy comes along and say you're dating a monster. This guy simply has no filter, and every phrase that comes out of his mouth is like a kidney stone. Now we have a provocateur. This is the friend who loves to watch the things burn. He never directly confronts anyone, but he's always adding fuel to the fire. For example, if this guy hears that the hater is telling you some truths, he'll probably say something like, "Oh, you're really going to let him talk about you like that? I wouldn't." An instigator enters the conversation and suddenly everyone's fighting. Meanwhile, he sits in the corner eating popcorn, watching the chaos he created. I have no idea why he likes trouble so much. I think he just born to be like that, I don't know. I've always had a bad luck of being surrounded by this type of person in almost all my friend groups, and this guy has tried to start fights with me a bunch of times, but I've never let him because that's what he wants. He wants to see you in the chaos he creates. Luckily, I have very fast legs and I always manage to escape before the fight. If you have this guy in your friend group, sorry man, you screwed. The third one is a professional counselor. This is the friend who always makes plans but he never shows up. He confirms everything excited, but when the time comes, oh boy, I forget I have something to do. Whenever the group wants to hang out, this guy will find a way to sleep out at the last minute. Bro tells you he's sick when he's actually playing Free Fire. He's always the first one to leave places and I don't know how he does it, but he's always come up with a new excuse to leave. "Oh, I forgot I have a test tomorrow. Sorry bro, I gotta go to bed." Like dude, it's 9 p.m. Sometimes the dude just doesn't show up. Even after swearing by his life he will be there. And there comes a point where nobody's surprised anymore if he doesn't show up. The next guy, well, at least he shows up. The latecomer. He's like the counselor. He'll text you saying he'll be there in 20 minutes when he's actually sleeping. If the whole group is depending on him to do something, he might disappoint you at first, but he always shows up at the end. You cannot count on him for anything important, because he will find a way to be late. "Where are you, dude?" "Dude, I'm at Uber, relax."
And it doesn't have to be college or anything, even if it's just your treatment.
The sass friend. Every guy does a little bit of delicious play with his friend, but it's just for fun, you know? It's that silly joke to embarrass the other guy. Now this one, he takes it to another level. He's walking a thin line between being gay or not, and nobody has any idea if he's serious or if he's joking. He's capable of kissing someone and saying, "Dude, I was just testing you." Nah bro, your test went too far. Sometimes it's even funny, but when you do it too much, it makes me wonder if you're not going to do anything with me on my sleep. Now let's get down to the deeper layers, the types of friends that I think you should avoid at all costs. Friends with benefits. You probably already know this type of friendship is one where two people decided to be friends with a few extra things, if you know what I mean. Now, the problem with this type of friendship is that it's extremely difficult not to get feelings. It's like putting a steak in front of a stray dog. You have to be very naive to believe that the dog won't eat the steak. And friends with benefits is the same thing. Let me tell you about my personal experience with this type of friendship. Well, there were this girl from my school who hang out with me a lot, but one day, out of nowhere, she came up to me and said, "Fred, we've been friends for so long, but why we never Yeah, I mean, we should definitely do that." At first, you like the idea of having a friend who is willing to do things with you, if you know what I mean. And yes, that works at first, but after a while, you start noticing that your friend is actually way more interesting than you thought. She actually likes the same music as you have the same energy and other things like that. So I started to see her in a slightly different way. Before I knew it, I was liking her way more than I should. And one day, I gathered all my courage and confessed my feelings to her. Hi, I just want to say there, I really like you. And when I confessed my feelings to her, guess what she said? She came up to me and said, I'd rather be a pigeon than date you. Yeah, she really said that. And to make the thing worse, we were on a public bus, man, with a bunch of people who knew me. That was probably the most embarrassing day of my life. Wait, now that I think about it, that girl wasn't nice. She was just a total bitch. But you get the point. The criminal. This is one of the worst type of friends for obvious reasons. If one spawns in front of you, you're going to get into trouble, man, seriously. Like, there's this guy in my neighborhood who came over to my house once and asked me to keep a sealed box safe. I knew right away it was a wrong thing and I didn't want to accept it. But the guy was like, it's just a new cell phone for my mom, don't worry, bro. No man, I know very well that shit is not a cell phone, but I keep it anyway because despite everything, the guy was my childhood friend and I thought it wouldn't be a big deal. 2 days later, I hear the police knocking at my door looking for him, and I only got away with it because I lied and I said I didn't know him. This happens because at the time I lived in a slightly dangerous area and a small portion of the criminals in that area were people who went to elementary school with me, but unfortunately they ended up going in a bad way of life. So you have to be extremely careful with this kind of friend. Lastly, we have the deadbeat. This is the guy who in the group of friends has the terrible habit of forgetting his wallet at home, and somehow they're always the ones who eat the most. One time I was at the restaurant with this guy and we ordered a snack. He said he'd forgotten his wallet at home. Obviously, I offered to pay for everything, you know. I was like, don't worry man, let me pay. I will always be there for you. But as the time went on, he started forgetting his wallet a little too often. Every time we hang out, it was the same thing. Sorry, I forgot my wallet. I will transfer it later on my phone. Sometimes he'd pay me back and sometimes he doesn't. He started forgetting his wallet more and more often, as if the ritual for leaving the house was to forget his wallet at first and then take his keys. Besides, this is the guy who likes to borrow your things and never returns them. If you don't have money, no problem at all, man. I understand, I'm broke too. But when you have money and you're always messing around, man, I'm sorry, but that doesn't work for me. I hope you learned something from this video, or at least you enjoy it. And tell me if you have any of these friendships, or if you are one of them. Seriously, I'm really curious to know. I love you all. Bye.